Antebellum for us, we always knew from the moment we put pen to paper, so to speak, that ultimately this was going to be a movie that we would direct, that we would produce, that we would spearhead and guide in every detail of making the movie from script to screen.
We felt a huge responsibility to the cast. They put a lot of trust in us. These characters are, they're strong characters. It can be divisive, and we wanted to make sure that they understood that we knew that they were putting a lot of trust in us, and we felt a huge responsibility to them throughout, from pre-production all the way through post, to make sure that we delivered on what we promised.
Obviously, Janelle, Janelle actually was, I think, possessed by the ancestors. When you see her in this role, the performance is breathtaking. It's extraordinary. It's so authentic because she was deeply committed to everything, the rigor that the role required. And so again, that was about hopefully, us creating a safe space for the artist to be able to take on the difficulty of these characters in a way that felt authentic and real.
To kind of expand on the conceit of the film a little more, what we wanted to do was kind of put a modern context for people around the horrors of slavery and allow people to view it through a modern lens, so it's easier to sympathize and understand what happened. I mean, in the American school system, Black history begins at slavery. There's nothing before. And so this film kind of allows you to understand what that would be like to be plucked from your family, your job, your entire world environment, and put into this horror, and how horrific that was, and how long lasting the effects. Janelle was able to communicate so much without saying a word. There's so much happening just in her eyes, and the stare, and what you see when you look at her face. You feel so much, and she doesn't even have to say a word. And that really is Eden's character. She is keeping everything at bay because she has to for her survival. We kind of leaned into the horror aspects just because inherently this feels like this is a horror film. It's horrific.
But I mean, also, I think we looked at it when we realized that horror was the absolute only way to go with Antebellum, is when we started thinking about what it would feel like to be Black and dropped off in the antebellum South and be modern and to be unaware of what was going on. That is complete and unmitigated horror. And so, for us, that felt organic. It felt absolutely like the direction we wanted and needed to take for the movie. Christopher and I, we believe that our responsibility as responsible stewards of this art is to catalyze a national dialogue around a whole host of issues, not the least of which is race in America. And when we made the film, we had every intention that we were going to achieve that end goal of having those conversations. But now, in this racial reckoning that feels unique to any other time that we've had in our history in this country, Antebellum feels ordained in a way, destined for this moment, that it was made for this moment. Black women are the quintessential hero of this country. And it has not been depicted. We've not seen it on screen in the way that it deserves. And it should not be novelty. It should be commonplace. And so, it's unfortunate in the year 2020 that, a black heroine leading a movie is in some way, provocative and news making or newsworthy. But given the fact that it is, we are incredibly proud that we are associated with a film and with a performance in a black female lead that is worthy of a big conversation. Veronica is this incredibly well-read, well-traveled, educated black woman, a mother, a wife, and she navigates life as a black woman with such beauty and such grace. And I think for me personally, she reminded me so much of my mother or my sister who attended Spelman, or a lot of the black women. Christopher and I are surrounded by black women in our lives because we have a mixed family, so to speak. So we're familiar with these women, and we know them well, and we don't see them regularly portrayed on the silver screen in the way that we experience these women. So it was important to us that we ground Veronica, the character, in someone that we actually know and are familiar with. Sean and Ray couldn't have been more supportive, and they were, I think, as determined as we were to see our vision on the screen as we were. And that speaks volumes about who they are as producers, and why we've chosen to work with them again. We're
On the next project.
On the next project, we're working with them again. So, Sean and Ray are great guys. They are super funny, and they have such a dry wit. Both of them collectively. I think that their appreciation for the black experience and wanting to amplify those issues for a broader audience, that's really important to them.